Folks, I don't know if you're paying attention, but we have had a refinance boom. And what I am here to tell you is this is step A of a 3-step process. Folks, it is going to get wild. If you don't know what I'm talking about, refinance demand is up not double digits, but triple digits. Yes, folks, refinance demand reported this morning up 111% year on year. If you don't know what that means a lot, and it's more than double. So again, this is step 1. We will talk about step 2 and step 3, but let's bring in the man, myth, the legend, Matt, the mortgage guy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. And this is a subject that I could talk about every single day. I love refinance, and I've had a lot of conversations. I know mortgage brokers who, they've been told by a mentor, or for whatever reason they've grown their business, and they're like, I focus on purchase because refinance kind of comes and goes. Purchase is my foundation. I've always done both. I haven't seen a problem with doing both. And I try to remind people, like, that great warm and fuzzy feeling you get by helping Joe and Susie buy their first house. It's warm and fuzzy to help Joe and Susie save $400 a month.
Exactly.
Where they're not stressed out and crying themselves to sleep at night and can't put their kids, in the programs they want. And so I love refinance. Refinance being up 111% is awesome. We saw rates come down, probably hit 12 to 18 month low in early September. And then we saw they tick up mid-September after that meeting that the Fed had. They're back down, Mike. I think I might have saw something today where it's like we're nearing the lowest rates we've seen. And so all that to say, they're up a lot and they're not slowing down. There's multiple different buckets in my opinion on people. I think me and you talked in the past about if you bought somewhere between, mid to late 2022 and today, you're probably in a position where going from 7.25 or even 6.99 to low 6s, high 5s saves you a ton of money, especially if you've got a loan amount, like the stuff I see in California. And so those people, they got into a home, they got settled, they qualified for and were comfortable with a $4,400 payment. Then life happens and they're like, wow,
yeah,
I knew we could do it, but it's not that comfortable, so they call me and I'm like, let's get you down to 39.50 because we're going to take you from 7% to 5.99. People are ecstatic. And so that's one bucket. Bought in the last 24 to 30 months, payment was a little bit uncomfortable because your rate was 7% or in that range.
No, there were some people in the 8s. Let's not forget rates went as high as 8%. So again, there's a lot of people with mortgages with a 7 or 8 handle on them that very likely could benefit from a refi, just a simple rate and term refi.
Yeah. And the thing is too, just for the one rental at a time audience, who a lot of investors, you might have your primary, you might have investments, you might have all kinds of different scenarios. It never hurts to check. And one thing we've got one where it's an investment property at 7.99. That borrower's going down to 6.6. That's saving $450 a month. You just created an extra $5,000 a year in cash flow. Congratulations.
Exactly.
By picking up the phone. And another one I'm seeing a lot of is self-employed borrowers who used a bank statement loan. Those rates, those are the people that were in 7.5, 7.75, 8%. I've refinanced a couple of those into low to mid 6s. And, generally speaking, hard charging entrepreneurs making good money doing a bank statement loan. Yeah. 1.5 million, 1.9 million, 2.2 million. These loan sizes where I'm like, this person is saving more per month than the average, monthly payment of some of these other, like saving $2,500 a month on a refinance I did. I've got a couple more where, 7.75 to 6.75 on a bank statement cash out deal. So they're getting $250,000 out and saving money every month.
Well, this is where we're going. So again, I told you in the introduction, I see, and again, I correctly called. I take the L's when I'm wrong, but I'm going to take some victory laps when I'm right. And I told you this refi boom was coming. So this is step one, rate and term refis. We also had a lot of people take what I considered bad advice and dated the rate, married the house. They got lucky, right? 2 years ago, that was a strategy that I did not endorse, but many did. And guess what? Congratulations, you got lucky. You can get out now, right? Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. So they're coming out. That's another reason why mortgage refis are up 111%, because there was a large batch of people that dated the rate. So congratulations, get out ASAP. So here's step two, and we're not quite here yet, but you just highlighted it's coming. We're going to see, in my opinion, $1 trillion in equity extraction. You just talked about somebody who's lowering payment and collecting a $250,000. Good for them. But we're about to see, homeowners look at their house, their home, their investments as a piggy bank. Some of them are going to do good things like pay off 20% credit card debt, pay off student loans, whatever. And a lot of people are going to do dumb shit like buy cars and take vacations. Either way, we're going to see $1 trillion or more come out as rates continue to fall. And again, we have a Fed meeting today, a rate cut very likely, and more importantly, quantitative tightening to end, which according to Bank of America and Goldman Sachs will feel like another quarter point. So today we might hear about upwards of 0.5 point in rate reduction. And this is why mortgage rates are coming down and likely continue to go down from here. So step two of this 3 steps, folks, is equity extraction. I'm guessing late Q1, Q2, we start to hear about record equity extraction. That's going to be step two, because step one's rate and term, step two's equity extraction. What do you think?
I agree with you. And it's one of those things where I'm already seeing it. I'm already having the conversations. And a takeaway, if we want to give anybody advice, is really take the time to review it and talk about it. And I love those conversations because, hopefully anybody listening has a mortgage broker in their corner who can truly sit down, analyze it. And, it might be a fault of mine, Mike. Some might call me a shitty salesman, but I'll literally have a conversation with somebody, review everything, and then leave it in their corner, right? If that sounds good, reach out to me. I am certainly not going to pound the phones every day and get it was funny at a conference I was at last week. They talked about mortgage brokers. While we hold 40% plus market share of purchase, our market share of refinance is under 20%.
Oh,
and I think part of that is because there's guys like me out there that feel like true advisors. I'm certainly not in a big call center where
that makes sense.
there was a funny phrase that somebody used. They used to work for large company, may or may not name them, Rocket. They used to come in and they call it loading the big gun. And it's basically plugging in these 200 numbers to their dialer system and then turning it on. And the big gun is loaded. The phone's going to ring for 12 straight hours. It's your job to talk somebody into doing a refinance.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite end of the spectrum. And so anyhow, let me get this out real quick. I'm talking to many people who it makes a lot of sense. You owe $230, but you've got $60,000 in high credit card debt. You've got $20,000 on a car that's at 10%, and you've got another $15,000 to pay off a timeshare, whatever the case may be. Like, get all of that junk out of your life. And I think where it even makes more sense through the conversations I've had is, people think about, gosh, I'm leaving a 3.5. I'm getting into a 5.99 or a 6.25. This has got to be bad. Well, one, you're paying off all those debts where blended rate, that might make sense. But two, you tell me you're leaving in 5 years, right? You're moving out of state in 5 years. So it's not
doesn't matter.
It's not like this 30-year fix is 30 years, right? You're going to take the
you were going to leave anyway.
Right. Yeah. The higher rate for now to get rid of all of this just weight and huge payments and cash flow disaster. For those people, leverage that $280,000 in equity you have in your house that you've earned by paying the mortgage payment and seeing it appreciate over the last decade.
Yeah, no, again, at the end of the day, I think there are lots of people that have gotten into cash flow straps where equity extraction or seconds or equity lines are the right answer. Again, folks, do the math. It's not always the right answer. Please don't let body shops and call centers and the big gun talk you into something that's financially stupid. That's not a good idea. Get a second or third opinion. But since we're talking about the 3 steps and we've only hit step 2, step 3 of this is when we get the move up buyers going, okay, it's time to move. It's time to sell the entry level house that's got the 3% mortgage and get the move up that has a 5.5% mortgage. And again, I think rate and term refis, again, clearly already happening, up 111%. It's a refi boom. Cash out refis, in my opinion, start sub 6, and we are so close. Move up buyer, it's 5.5. Now, do we get there next year? I don't know. I say yes, others say no, but that's just how I see this going. And you've got to get the move up buyer transacting if you really want to get this housing market going, because you get price discovery, you get trade ups, you get a buy and a sell, and it's going to unlock a lot of entry level housing. And interestingly enough, one of the reasons I don't just totally poo-poo people like Bill Pulte, who says that mortgage rates going down will also lower home prices, is because I understand how the median home price is calculated. And one of the things I've said forever, in fact, I told Melody Wright, I think a year ago, that if you want to see the median home price fall, you have to have mortgage rates fall. And that's just really not logical for a lot of folks. But the answer is we have to unlock the low end. One of the reasons the median home price is so high is we've frozen the low end, and the only stuff that's transacting is the high end, is the rich people, is the wealthy people. They are not rate sensitive. So it makes the median home price look higher. So if you take rates to 5%, unlock the low end, you're going to be shocked that the median home price might fall, but it's just because the median or the mix is so different.
Yeah, I agree with you. And one thing that I thought about when I was trying to be open-minded enough to like, maybe that stuff can happen, is I know Bill Pulte, among others, is really, voicing himself like build, more inventory, more inventory. So if we have this scenario where a lot of more inventory is coming, like that naturally pushes prices down, and you can have rates trickling down, inventory coming. But it'll be interesting to see because, part of the problem, to your point, is like this inventory at the lower levels. If the people, if it's haves versus have-nots, like the haves that moved up in 20 and 21 or 22 had a 3% on a $300,000 house. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to keep that. Like my payment.
It could. Yeah. Accidental landlords are coming.
Yeah. That'll rent. And I just created a video, Mike, where through conversations, which is where most of my stuff comes from. Shout out to Matt the Mortgage Guy on YouTube. People should subscribe. I'm having a lot of conversations where people mistakenly held a former primary as a rental just because they thought that was the thing to do. And, it probably goes against things I've said in the past. People are like, wait, you told me that like if I buy a primary and then I go buy a new house 3 years later and turn that primary into rental, like that's a great way to get started in real estate investing. It is, but here's the problem. More often than not, that primary that you're departing would make a crap rental. It's not in the right area, the rents, and so none of it makes sense. It's just an easy way, and you got a great, rate at a 5% down. You can go do that again. And so I think some of that gets unraveled, and people realize like, whoops, I didn't want to be a landlord. I especially didn't, given the fact that like I lose $300 a month on this deal.
Alligator. Yeah. Don't do it. Never. Alligators are never a good idea. Dump them. Get rid of them. Not a good idea. Again, at the end of the day, folks, we have rate and term refis going, cash out refis next, move up buyer next. But at the end of this, you need to have a mortgage broker in your corner who will ask questions, give you advice, and not just rake you over the coals for some stupid commission. Matt, how can people find you?
You can go to Great Mortgage Broker. I'm also directing people to the website, mtmg.com. You go there, you can interact, with the chat bot, schedule a call. There's a lot of good information that, you can go back and forth and get some good information there. You can, poke around on the website, if you will. If you do, got a lot of new stuff on there. So give me feedback on stuff you like, stuff you don't like. But mtmg.com, schedule a call with me and the team, greatmortgagebroker.com. I'm not hard to find. So, follow Matt the Mortgage Guy on social. I promise you, if you're looking to do business with us, we're easy to get a hold of, and we're happy to help.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you. Have a great week.
Thanks, Mike. You too.